Let's begin with the first section of our lecture, head and neck space infections. And in this section, we will talk about the parotid abscess. What are the causes of parotid abscess? How the patient with parotid abscess present? What are the clinical features, signs and symptoms of the patient with parotid abscess? And also the diagnosis and treatment of the patient with parotid abscess. Parotid abscess is the suppuration or abscess in the parotid space. Parotid space is the space where the parotid gland is located. So abscess of the parotid space or suppuration of the parotid space is known as the parotid abscess. In this diagram, it's just a description of some spaces present in the skull. And if we look at it, this is the parotid space here, where the parotid gland is present in front of the ear on the face. So this is the parotid space. Some other important spaces, if we look at this is the stylomastoid foramen, where the cranial nerve 7 passes through, so stylomastoid foramen. Then this is the carotid space. This is the carotid canal for the carotid artery. Then we have parapharyngeal space. So when we will discuss the parapharyngeal abscess and the retropharyngeal abscess, here you can see actually the abscess of this parapharyngeal space is the parapharyngeal abscess. So this is the parapharyngeal space. Para means around the pharynx. And this is the retropharyngeal space behind the pharynx. So this is the retropharyngeal space, and this is the pharyngeal mucosal surface or space. So if we take this as a pharynx or pharyngeal mucosal surface lining, then this area is behind the pharynx, so it is known as the retropharyngeal space. And then this is around the pharynx, parapharyngeal, para on the side, parapharyngeal space, and this below is the parotid space, and in between the parapharyngeal space and parotid space we have the space where we have carotid canal and then the jugular foramen through which the cranial nerve 9 and 11 crosses. So this is roughly the picture that gives you the idea of the pharyngeal space, then the parapharyngeal on one side, retropharyngeal, and then we have parotid space where there is the formation of parotid abscess. The causes of parotid abscess, if you see very clear picture of parotid abscess here, this small child is very bad parotid swelling and inflammation and abscess formation, and this is the parotid abscess. Causes of parotid abscess formation: dehydration is one cause. And what does dehydration do? It causes stasis of a salivary flow also. So dehydration with stasis of salivary flow, that can cause obstruction and lead to this all infections and abscess formation. Infection from oral cavity from the mouth travels via Stenson duct to the parotid gland and cause infection. So this is the another cause of parotid abscess. Then we have multiple small abscesses. If multiple small abscesses form in the parenchyma of the parotid area or parotid gland, these can also lead to the big abscess formation once they coalesce and they form a big abscess. And then they again coalescence to form a single abscess. So if multiple small abscesses are present, they combine to form a big abscess, big single abscess. So the etiology, one very simple, dehydration, then any infection from the oral cavity, whether from the teeth, gums, palate, tonsils, anything, any infection in the mouth can travel to the parotid space via the Stenson duct. That's another cause of the parotid abscess. The bacteria which are responsible for the parotid abscess, Staphylococcus aureus. Staph aureus can cause parotid abscess. Very common bacteria for the different abscesses in the body. Staphylococcus is very, very commonly associated with them. So Staphylococcus aureus, streptococci, anaerobic organisms, different anaerobes. Anaerobes are microorganisms which do not require oxygen for their growth and multiplication. So anaerobic organisms, and also we have rarely but gram negative organism which are not stained by the gram stain, they are gram negative. So gram negative organisms are also associated with the parotid abscess. So staphylococcus, streptococcus, anaerobic organisms and gram negative organisms are all associated with the parotid abscess. Clinical features usually follows 5 to 7 days after operation, and these are the swelling, redness, indurations, tenderness in parotid area and angle of mandible very, very close. So once there is swelling in this parotid area, it affects the mandible angle and opening of the mouth, and the swallowing and chewing, everything is affected. Unilateral or bilateral, it can be both. Patient is toxic, have very toxic appearance. There is redness and swelling, and patient cannot open the mouth. There is drooling, and all that is present. Running, high fever, and dehydrated. So all these are the clinical features associated with the parotid abscess. There is redness, swelling, pain in the jaw, pain in the mandibular region, and then there is fever. Patient looks very toxic with high-grade fever. There is tachycardia. Patient is anxious. So the patient usually have very ill and toxic looking appearance. The diagnosis of parotid abscess is by the ultrasound or CT scan is helpful in the diagnosis. More than one loculi of pus may be seen. Even on physical examination, the diagnosis of the parotid abscess or involvement of parotid space is not very hard, because just by looking we can see that there is very bad pain, tenderness, and then we can actually feel that when the pus or abscess is under pressure, it's very, very painful condition and it becomes red. And once the incision is given to drain that abscess, usually that let the patient feel better and gives the relief to the symptom. So it's very, very, even on examination, we can suggest that it might be a parotid abscess. or more than one loculi of pus may be seen on examination. Aspiration of abscess for culture and sensitivity is important so we can start the right antibiotic and right treatment. But usually it's important that incision and drainage is performed on the abscess, because then it can get better with the antibiotics. Otherwise, sometimes without drainage, big abscesses, antibiotics are sometimes not very 100% effective. So aspiration of abscess for culture and sensitivity. Here if you see the diagram, there is the ultrasound probe. This is the fluid collection or abscess or pus, and then with the help of the ultrasound through the fluid, we just do the aspiration for the culture and sensitivity. And culture and sensitivity gives us the exact idea what is the causative microorganism and what antibiotic will be effective in that case. Treatment is the correction of dehydration, because dehydration is also the underlying cause of parotid abscess, because it causes stasis of salivary secretions and salivary flow. So correction of underlying dehydration, and it is also causing other effects also. So underlying dehydration should be corrected fast. Improve oral hygiene, because oral infections can also lead to the parotid abscess formation through the Stenson duct. Promote the salivary flow. Once the stasis is gone, the flow is better, the chances of obstruction and infection will be low. IV antibiotics are used for the abscess. Surgical drainage, as I mentioned, incision, small cut and drainage of the abscess along with antibiotic treatment is very, very effective, and usually a small tube is left inside the incision, so any abscess, it keeps on draining, and that along with antibiotics, it helps to treat the condition fast. These are some incisions used. This is modified Blair's incision. You can see the cut. So modified Blair incision. Then we have traditional facelift incision and modified facelift incision. So the incisions are usually in the way that it's not very cosmetically not very prominent also. So these are little modified types of incision: modified Blair incision and modified facelift incisions for the drainage. That was all about the parotid abscess. Thank you for watching sqadia.com.